It's 2 a.m., you should be asleep, but instead your brain is replaying a conversation from 3 days ago, thinking about what you should have said differently, or you're imagining every possible thing that could go wrong tomorrow, or you're second-guessing a decision you already made. Sound familiar? You're not alone. You're not broken, and this is not a character flaw. Your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. The problem is, it was built for a world that no longer exists. And once you understand why, you can actually do something about it. To understand overthinking, you need to go back about 200,000 years. Your ancestors lived in a world where a wrong decision could kill them. The rustle in the bushes. Is it wind or a predator? The person who spent more time thinking about every possibility survived longer than the one who didn't. So your brain evolved to do one thing above everything else: detect threats and prepare for them. The part of your brain responsible for this is called the amygdala. It's your internal alarm system, and here's the problem: it cannot tell the difference between a lion chasing you and an awkward email from your boss. To your amygdala, both are threats. Both deserve the same level of analysis and worry. Your brain does not stop overthinking because it believes it is protecting you. When something feels uncertain, it keeps analyzing to prevent failure or pain. It thinks it's helping. It's just using a 200,000-year-old system to solve a modern problem. Here's why overthinking feels impossible to stop. Psychologists discovered something called the Zeigarnik effect. It's the brain's tendency to keep returning to unfinished situations. Completed tasks get filed away and forgotten. Unresolved ones stay open, like browser tabs running in the background. When you replay a conversation, your brain sees it as unfinished business. When you worry about tomorrow, it's an open file that hasn't been resolved. The brain keeps returning to it, searching for closure that never comes. The mind continues returning to unresolved situations in search of closure, a mechanism that once served an evolutionary purpose. The cruel irony is, the more you try to force yourself to stop thinking about something, the more your brain fixates on it. Not everyone overthinks equally, and the patterns are surprising. Nearly 73% of people aged 25 to 35 experience overthinking regularly, compared to only 20% of people over 60. It actually gets better with age, which is something to look forward to. People who are more intelligent and emotionally aware tend to overthink more, because their brains can generate more possibilities and perspectives. More processing power doesn't always mean more peace. Perfectionists are especially vulnerable. When individuals set extremely high standards for themselves, they fear making mistakes, and the brain gets stuck searching for the perfect solution even when multiple acceptable options exist. And people who've experienced past trauma, rejection, or embarrassment are more likely to overthink, because their brain learned that being caught off guard is dangerous. So it scans constantly for threats. In other words, overthinking is often a sign of a sensitive, intelligent, self-aware mind. The problem is not the thinking. It's that the thinking never stops. So what actually works? Not just relax. That's useless advice. Here's what the science says. First, schedule your worry. This sounds strange, but it works. Pick 15 minutes a day, same time every day, where you're allowed to worry freely. When anxious thoughts come outside that window, tell your brain, I'll think about this at 6 p.m. You're not ignoring the thought, you're giving it a time slot. The brain accepts this. Second, write it down. The Zeigarnik effect weakens when you externalize the thought. Write down what's worrying you, not to solve it, just to capture it. Your brain stops looping because it no longer needs to hold the thought in memory. Third, ask one question. When you catch yourself spiraling, ask, am I solving a problem right now? Or just replaying one? If you're not moving toward a solution, you're overthinking. That single question can interrupt the loop immediately. And finally, physical movement. A 10-minute walk doesn't just burn calories, it literally lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that fuels anxious thinking. Your brain cannot maintain a full anxiety spiral while your body is moving. Overthinking is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that your brain is doing its job, just a little too aggressively, for a world it wasn't designed for. You can't turn off the alarm system, but you can learn to recognize when it's a false alarm. Schedule the worry. Write it down. Ask the question. Move your body. Small tools, but they work because they work with your brain, not against it. If this video made you feel understood, that's exactly what this channel is for. Subscribe, because every week we explain the things your brain does, that nobody ever taught you in school. And drop a comment below. What do you overthink about the most? I'm genuinely curious.